My dear students, Assalamu alaikum. Today we are going to discuss the subject of congenital cataract and its management. So before going into the details of the subject, we should know what are our learning objectives. First, we should know applied anatomy of the crystalline lens. You should remember it. That was told in your first lecture. Secondly, very important is to know what is white pupillary reflex in children, and you should be able to evaluate, investigate, and differentiate between various causes of white pupillary reflex. Then you should know what are various pediatric cataract surgical techniques and their complications for better evaluation and counseling of the parents of the child and for better rehabilitation after cataract surgery. So today's lecture is meant for this purpose. However, we will interact it in detail during our tutorials of batches, case discussions in OPD and wards, and in operation theatre. So very important is white pupillary reflex or leukocoria. Leuko means white, coria means pupil. So leukocoria is term used for white pupillary reflex. पेरेंट्स आगे बताते हैं कि बच्चे की आंख से सफ़ेद रंग की चमकती लाइट नज़र आती है, वाइट pupillary reflex. So common causes include cataract followed by retinoblastoma, Coats disease, persistent hyperplastic primary vitreous, and retinopathy of prematurity. This ROP is on rise because of better knowledge these days. Other uncommon causes are retinal dysplasia and organization of vitreous after penetrating trauma or vitreous hemorrhages. So, why a child develops cataract at birth? I mean, various causes of congenital cataract क्या हो सकती हैं? Commonest is inheritance, maybe of one parent or another. It constitutes about 50% patients of congenital cataract. Other causes are intrauterine infections of the embryo or fetus, especially in early pregnancy. Most common reasons are rubella, followed by toxoplasmosis, cytomegalovirus, herpes virus, and syphilis, etc. Metabolic causes are also important. Say the child is having keratosemia, neonatal hypocalcemia, or hypoglycemia. Similarly, toxic and physical injuries to the mother by intake of steroids, radiation hazards, or trauma may also lead to congenital cataract. Now coming to the subject, what is very important and the way the baby is brought to you in clinics and out of history, you try to make your mind that the child is having cataract or some other problem. So what is the way of presentation? Most marked one is the marked visual impairment. आगे बताते हैं बच्चे के पेरेंट्स बताते हैं कि बच्चा जो है वो अम्मा को देखता ही नहीं है, या सामने कोई चीज़ नज़र आए, लाइट नज़र आए, पेरेंट्स या कोई मूवमेंट करे उसकी आँख के आगे तो फॉलो नहीं करता, नज़र नहीं आता, उसको परेशान होकर आते हैं. Particularly if the cataract is bilateral and central. The second most common presentation is wide pupillary reflex. So wide pupillary reflex or leukocoria is seen primarily by the parents, especially in case of unilateral cataract. Other presentations are squint, which is not very common, and similarly the parents may give history of other systemic abnormalities like hearing problems, cardiac problems, or weakness, nutritional problems, etc. They may be due to same genetic or congenital error that led to cataract development. Once you have assessed on the basis of these symptoms that the child is likely to have cataract, then it is very important to assess vision, which is very difficult in children. So most important is observation of fixation and following reflexes. वो कैसे करते हैं? We present colored objects, colored lights, and very pretty looking targets of various colors to the baby, and we see whether baby fixes on those targets or not. And once fixes, we move the target from one place to another, and we see whether the baby is following the color lights or color targets. That gives an indication that the baby is having better vision. Similarly, we can show video games, and then move them from one side to another, and we see the fixation and following movements. That will give very important clues about the vision of the baby. Other is forced choice preferential looking. इसमें क्या करते हैं? We give various types of objects, colored and less colored, and of interest and of less interest, and we see the baby who is forced to look at the targets of his own choice. And if the baby keeps following targets of special choice, then we understand that the child is having better vision and can follow the targets. It is the second stage. I mean, this vision is less than the fixation and following of the reflexes. Then is the optokinetic nystagmus and visually evert potentials. These are investigations beyond your scope, which I will not go into detail. Having done that, next is we see the eyes simply with the torch. जो torch में use करते हैं, we throw the light of torch on the eyes, and we can see whether cataract is bilateral as in this child or unilateral in this child. At the same time, we can see whether the pupil is reacting to light or not. If the pupil is briskly reacting to light, most likely it is not retinal problem or neural problem, most likely it is cataract. And if the pupil reaction is poor or sluggish, and you feel RAPD etc. between two eyes, then it is most likely a case of non-cataract So people should be acting brisk. The no RAPD, that is a sign of cataract most likely. So with the light of torch, you can see two things: whether there is cataract unilateral, bilateral, immature, mature, as I had discussed earlier with the shadow test, and secondly, how the pupil is reacting. At the same time, we can see other abnormalities like some corneal problem, iris underdevelopment, or peripheral corneo-iridal adhesions and underdevelopment of angle. Similarly, we can see coloboma, eyelid abnormalities, and other things which may be coexisting with the cataract. After torch examination, we can use the slit lamp. We have manual handheld slit lamps available like this, which makes the light beam divided into various segments, just like slit lamp, and we can see cornea, anterior chamber, lens, and other structures like slit lamp. And at the same time, we can use Perkins or handheld tonometer, this one, to see the intraocular pressure of the child. It has this base which is placed on the forehead, and this is the tonometer, applanation tonometer, and it gives similar reading just like applanation tonometry used with the slit lamp. This is the type of rings we see. You know you are taught in glaucoma. Then we see fundus. Distant direct ophthalmoscopy जैसे बताया था, to see whether there is red reflex, healthy, unhealthy, incomplete, complete, etc. And with indirect ophthalmoscope, after dilating pupil, we can see the detail of retina, especially if cataract is white only in center, we can see periphery as well. Similarly, less denser cataract, we can pass through this cataract with the bright light of this intraophthalmoscope and we can see some details of the retina as well. However, if cataract is very dense and we cannot go beyond that, then the ultrasound A and B scan, particularly B scan, is of value and it is used similarly just like in elderly we had discussed earlier. So this is the intraophthalmoscopy mounted on the head, seeing the fundus, and in this baby you see pupil is fully dilated and there is complete red reflex in the right eye, whereas left eye is having this grayish black area in the center that is showing congenital cataract. Now after examination of the eye, we have to look for other abnormalities and we need the help of pediatrician. We refer the patient to the pediatrician and we see if the child is having any other abnormality associated with the cataract. We can send various samples to laboratory for the investigations of the etiology like chromosomal analysis as in Down syndrome or other likely conditions. Hypoparathyroidism is an important cause that can be assessed with the help of serum calcium level. TORCH test, you should remember it. It is very informative. It tells all the congenital abnormalities due to viral infection of the mother in first trimester of pregnancy. Most likely it is rubella. और टॉर्च से बनता क्या? TO for toxoplasma, R for rubella, C for cytomegalovirus virus and H for herpes virus. With this test you can exclude all these viral etiology that may be leading cause of cataract in these children. So टॉर्च टेस्ट को याद रखिएगा, बहुत important है. Then we can send urine in laboratory for amino acid analysis, that is seen in Loeys syndrome causing cataract as well. Similarly, urine reducing sugar test, Benedict's qualitative test करते थे, वो वाला टेस्ट है जी, and that is to see galactosemia, that is another cause of congenital cataract. Now, what is important in congenital cataract? Why we are more concerned is the amblyopia. You know, amblyopia is a condition of underdevelopment of vision in the eye in the absence of any organic abnormality. So, in case of newborn infant, if there is a cataract that causes underdevelopment of vision by deprivation of stimulus, where stimulus ही नहीं पहुंचता cataract की वजह से, whether cataract is dense or less dense, less visual stimulus is reaching the retina and the immature visual system is unable to develop, and that will lead to stimulus deprivation or sensory deprivation, amblyopia. And if this is left untreated for maybe 4 months or so, there is permanent amblyopia, permanent loss of visual development in that eye. चाहे बाद में कुछ भी कर लें, vision develop नहीं होगा. Then unilateral cataracts, they are more amblyogenic as compared to bilateral cataract because of the competition between the two eyes. Similarly, unilateral cataract may develop squint as well due to underdevelopment of vision, as eyes turn medially in some cases. Now, having diagnosed it with these tests and our clinical experience, how to manage congenital cataract is very important. Important is the timing of the surgery and the techniques used. So, what are the indications of cataract surgery or management? We should treat the child conservatively if the vision is good enough and we think that the amblyopia is not going to develop. However, once the visual defect is severe and cataract is denser, then we should not delay much and we should go for surgery and aggressive post-operative optical treatment. Because if that treatment is not done properly, even surgery may be of no benefit. We will discuss it later. And dense and total cataracts are treated as an emergency surgery as early as possible. Timing of surgery is also very important, and you should know whether it should be operated early or late again depends whether the cataract is bilateral or unilateral. In bilateral cataracts, if the cataract is bilateral and partial, it means that some part of the lens is clear and light is reaching the retina, then we should go for observation as long as possible, because early surgery has lots of complications. Similarly, if the cataract is bilateral but dense, then you should go for surgery as early as 6 weeks of the age. You should not go beyond that. Otherwise, the child will develop stimulus deprivation, amblyopia, and in such cases, denser eye has to be operated first, always. Now, what should be the time in unilateral cataract? Unilateral cataracts are more dangerous as they cause more amblyopia and they are more amblyogenic. So, we should need to manage them even earlier and even with more precise ways as compared to bilateral cataract. So, if it is unilateral and partial, we can observe and manage it with optical measurements and giving best optical correction to this eye and intermittent occlusion of the other eye to prevent amblyopia. However, if the cataract is unilateral and dense, urgent surgery is mandatory at the age of 6 weeks. We should not go beyond that, otherwise it will be leading to amblyopia, and we should go for aggressive anti-amblyopia therapy after surgery. And if we have delayed or the child is reporting late after the age of 16 weeks with dense unilateral cataract, then surgery is also not beneficial because amblyopia has already developed and is refractory. So the people should be taught and educated that they should come as early as possible if they see any white pupillary reflex in the eye of the baby. Now, what are the various current surgical techniques being used? Depends upon the age of the baby, a child. Below the age of 5 years, simply lens aspiration. Lens is soft and we can simply use Simigo cannula and aspirate the lens after capsulotomy, followed by posterior capsulotomy and anterior vitrectomy. इसमें posterior capsule में भी ओपनिंग करते हैं और anterior vitrectomy भी करते हैं. मैं डिस्कस करूँगा बाद में क्यों करते हैं. Other is lancectomy. What is lancectomy? In this, we don't go through the anterior portion or cornea or limbus. We go from the vitreous here. We go from 3.5 mm away from the limbus through plana of the vitreous. Cause first anterior vitrectomy, then posterior capsulotomy, then lens aspiration from posterior side. And there is no wound at the limbus. This is known as lancectomy. So these are the two ways in case of children under the age of 5 years. Lens aspiration with posterior capsulotomy and anterior vitrectomy, and number 2, lancectomy. They are to be done, preferably lancectomy is to be done after in this age, and in all these babies, once surgery is done, intraoral lens can be implanted secondarily after the age of 1 year. एक साल से पहले intraoral lens नहीं लगाया जाता because it has lot of complications. However, if the child is above the age of 5 years, then simple phacoemulsification or extra capsular cataract extraction with posterior chamber IOL implant as in adults is done. What is the rationale for that? Because child is grown up, can cooperate, and if the child develops posterior capsular opacification or after cataract, and we can easily do gyre laser capsulotomy, and amblyopia therapy is easy in this stage because the child is more sensible and cooperative. So what may be the common post-operative complications after congenital cataract surgery? Complication बच्चे में बहुत ज़्यादा होती हैं और बहुत intense होती हैं, so we have to be very meticulous. People are educated before surgery of their children that these are the complications, these may be there, and you should follow regularly for management of these. So most common is post-operative capsular opacification. As I told during surgery that we carry out posterior capsulotomy as well. What is posterior capsular opacification? Because of young lens, it has very active epithelium that keeps laying new fibers to grow, and these fibers keep on depositing on the posterior capsule and cause very dense opacification. It is universal in children. So to prevent it, we in advance we carry out posterior capsulotomy as well. यानी posterior capsule में opening कर देते हैं so that that portion does not get opaque after development of this fibrosis from the epithelial cells. Other complication is opacification of anterior hyaloid phase. You know, on the back of the posterior capsule of the lens, there is vitreous, anterior hyaloid phase of vitreous. Even this opacification from the epithelium can move to that hyaloid phase and cause opacification of the hyaloid phase as well. So not only we carry out posterior capsulotomy, as I told earlier, in children younger than 5 years of age, not only we carry out posterior capsulotomy, we carry out anterior vitrectomy. Anterior hyaloid phase को भी हम vitrectomy करके निकाल देते हैं, so that there is no opacification of this area to have better fruitful results of the surgery. Next is the pupillary membranes. Because of the young and healthy immune system, the reaction is very intense post-operative uveitis that may lead to pupillary membrane formations, and that are treated by gel laser as is used for glaucoma surgery. Similarly, gel lasers are used to break these pupillary membranes and they are cleared. Next complication is glaucoma. Glaucoma is always seen in patients of congenital cataract, may be part of the underdevelopment of the anterior segment that led to cataract development in congenital cases, or due to excessive use of steroids and medications after cataract surgery, and as a complication of surgery itself, because adhesions are formed at the angle of infiltrate chamber between iris and cornea, and that may cause secondary glaucoma. So glaucoma is very common, almost universal again. We have to look for it and manage it. Treatment may be surgical or may be medical, but it should be intensive. Another complication is retinal detachment. Any child who has been operated for cataract in early age, young age, they are likely to develop retinal detachment between 30 and 40 years of age. So one should be vigilant, and they should be following in case of any real disturbance in that age after surgery in childhood. Now, once we have treated the child with surgery, it is not enough that you have done the excellent surgery and the results are good. We have to carry out very aggressive post-operative anti-amblyopia therapy, यानी अंडर बच्चों को एम्ब्लायोपिया डेवलप नहीं होने देना. तो कॉमनेस spectacles in our setup, lightweight plastic spectacles are used in case of bilateral aphakia. कि बच्चे में एफेकिया होता है. एफेकिया मीन्स जब इंट्राओकुलर लेंस ना लगाया जाए, उसमें आप स्पेक्टिकल यूज़ करते हैं, एंड इट इज़ समटाइम इनअप्रोप्रिएट एज स्मॉल इन्फेंट्स समटाइम्स don't use it, but I have seen practically that it is very good response is very good. And if the baby is wearing these glasses, and if he comes back to you for follow-up, you see the baby will not let you remove the glasses. Other option is contact lenses. This is a superior type of post-operative rehabilitation tool because it covers the entire cornea and it gives better visual field, especially in case of unilateral cataracts. Because in bilateral cataract glasses are okay. Unilateral में क्या होता है, दूसरी आंख से बच्चा सही देख रहा होता है, इस आंख से सही नहीं देखता, तो जब ये कॉन्टैक्ट लेंस लगा दी जाए तो क्वालिटी ऑफ विजन इसकी दूसरी आंख के बराबर हो जाती है और डेवलपमेंट ऑफ एम्ब्लियोपिया इज लेस कॉमन एज कम्पेयर टू glasses. So for contact lenses, mother should be very, very literate. She should know the uses of contact lenses, how to apply, how to keep it clean, and how to remove it. And she should know the complications like the removal of the lens, accidental damage to the lens, and how to manage it. She should be taught if the lens is advised. That is about general visual rehabilitation. However, if the child has grown beyond the age of 1 year, we can implant secondary posterior chamber IOL in the eye for better quality of vision. And then this child is being followed regularly for after every 6 months for the rest of the life, so that if any complication occurs, we can manage it timely. Thank you very much for patient listening. Now I will send you an assignment and you will complete it by 5 p.m. and send it back to my PA Umar Sohail. You are free to ask any questions on your group in WhatsApp, on Facebook, and personally on my personal number. I will appreciate it and I will be ready to answer any of the queries and clear queries. I will be waiting for your response. Thank you very much.